Hey everyone, it's Nathan back for another video. I have been doing Hitchcock month on my channel. I've been posting videos on YouTube as well as posting reviews on Letterboxd and my Instagram page. And so if you haven't been participating, it's not too late to join. You still have plenty of time into the month to join. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on which Hitchcock films you are watching. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I talked about it in a previous video. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you love talking about movies, especially more so classic cinema. Today is a very special day. It is Sir Alfred Hitchcock's 121st birthday. August 13th, 1899, Alfred Hitchcock was born. It's funny because originally going into life, he wanted to become an engineer. However, he started getting involved with movies, spent a little bit of time in Germany with the filmmaker who created Nosferatu, and then he actually started playing a hand in the filmmaking process and started making silent films. Eventually, he evolved into talkies and adopted the nickname, the Master of Suspense. If you're not familiar with Alfred Hitchcock's filmography, he is known for having very suspenseful films. He once said he likes playing the audience like a piano. He just has a great time torturing us. It's awesome. I love it. But because it's his birthday today, I wanted to celebrate with a birthday cake. Got this piece of cake right here, and it's solely for Hitchcock's birthday. That's not true. My sister's birthday was yesterday, and it's leftover birthday cake. That's so dumb. In honor of Hitchcock's birthday, I wanted to post a video today talking about some of his films. I do have plans to talk about a more in-depth ranking of his filmography. However, today I want to just focus on the movies that he did with Cary Grant. So he did a total of 4 movies with Cary Grant, ranging from the 40s to the 50s. So we'll only be talking about 4 movies today, but I still want to hear your guys' thoughts on these Cary Grant films, which ones you like, which ones maybe you don't like, and how you would rank them. Just a quick little disclaimer, I don't dislike any of these movies. Number 4 goes to Suspicion. Suspicion is actually the most recent team up I've seen between Cary Grant and Hitchcock, and it was also their first. This movie definitely had some pros and a few cons. It has those suspenseful moments that Hitchcock is known for putting in his movies, and is especially impressive in this movie since he was so young in his filmmaking career. This is really one of the first movies that he created that was known for the suspense. It also is cool because not only is Cary Grant starring in it, but it also stars Joan Fontaine, who starred in Rebecca. And so it's neat to see them two work together. Cary Grant plays a very interesting character in this movie. I feel like normally he's known for playing a suave, good-looking, mysterious gentleman. In this film, he is definitely mysterious, but he's also very comedic, as well as just very wild, and he kind of does whatever he wants. He doesn't really care about finances. He doesn't really care about getting a job. He just kind of wants to live life the way he wants to do it, and he doesn't really care what anyone thinks. I will say though, although this movie ranks at the bottom of the list, without spoiling it, it has a very ambiguous ending, which I do appreciate. A lot of Hitchcock films, they end and you know exactly how they end, you understand the meaning of it and all that. Suspicion is one of those Hitchcock films that it doesn't really give you a final answer in the ending. It's an ambiguous ending and it's up to the interpretation of the audience members. Quick spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Suspicion, mute your video right now. I'll just do this when you can unmute it. I definitely think Cary Grant is a murderer. Everything leads to him being the murderer. In fact, his friend who died in Paris, I believe it was, at the bar from drinking too much brandy, he even mentioned the nickname that he calls Cary Grant's character, and so I think that within itself gives it away. And plus, he's lied to his wife's face so many other times throughout the movie. To me, it makes perfect sense that he would lie to her again when she confronts him about poisoning her or trying to kill her. It ends in a way where he says he's not the murderer, but that's how I feel. Okay, you can unmute the video. Number 3 goes to Catch a Thief. This is the Grace Kelly and Cary Grant team up, and I think they work really well with each other. I mean, but to be fair, Cary Grant and Grace Kelly are such good actors that they really work well with anyone they're assigned to work with. But a few other things I love about To Catch a Thief: the setting. It is absolutely beautiful, taking place on the French Riviera. We see some beautiful sights. Cary Grant's home by itself in the movie is just absolutely breathtaking. And then we see a lot of the countryside, and it's just a very beautiful movie as far as the setting goes. It's also a very colorful movie, one of my favorite looking Alfred Hitchcock movies for sure. The film crew did a very interesting thing with this movie where whenever it's night scenes, they made the camera as if it was like a green night vision lens, and I thought that was really interesting. The whole movie is about a cat burglar stealing jewelry from people, and they're trying to find out who the cat burglar is. And so I feel like the cinematography for the night scenes are very fitting because it makes you feel similar to a cat, I guess, hunting at night. I'm not actually sure what cats see. I don't know if they see color or if they see black and white or if they have that night vision. A cat is known for being a very good hunter, hunting its prey at night as well. Being able to see the night very clearly through the night vision lens was just fascinating to me, and I thought it was a nice touch to the film. It's a movie that I really like, but I just, compared to his other movies, especially his other films with Cary Grant, it just doesn't quite reach that level of amazingness for me. And at number 2, I have Notorious. Now, Notorious is the Ingrid Bergman and Cary Grant team up, and they are amazing, arguably the best couple on this list. The movie has such romantic scenes. The kiss between Cary Grant and Ingrid Bergman alone is just like screaming classic Hollywood romance. But then there's also this whole plot of espionage, and that definitely plays a huge role in the suspense that comes from this movie. So basically what the movie is about is Cary Grant works for the government, and he enlists Ingrid Bergman to spy on a certain German that's living out in Brazil. They have suspicions of what he's doing behind the scenes, and so they want Ingrid Bergman to get a better feel for what's going on. And so with the espionage plot within itself, that definitely adds a lot of suspense to it because you don't want her to be caught. But then the movie gets even deeper because suspicion starts arising from the German, played by the brilliant Claude Rains, and he starts to kind of pick up and suspect that she might be an American spy. And that's when the suspense really kicks in, and the rest of the movie is just a super fun ride. What I really like about this movie is actually the suspense, especially those later scenes when they're in the wine cellar and there's a huge role that is played with a key that I also won't spoil. But the movie goes in a direction that I find very suspenseful and almost uncomfortable to watch, but it's suspenseful enough where I have to get more of it. This is a movie that I think I've seen 2 times, and it's already, in my opinion, due for a rewatch. But my number 1 Cary Grant and Hitchcock team up has got to go to North by Northwest. If I'm being completely honest, this was a movie that on the first time watching it, I didn't really understand the hype for it. I watched it and I appreciated it. I enjoyed it. I definitely didn't not like it, but I thought it was really overrated. When I watched it again, I had different expectations going into it. I wasn't necessarily expecting a Hitchcock masterpiece because I already knew how I felt about the movie. And so, if anything, I was just expecting something that was enjoyable. Let me just say that it is much better on a rewatch. And so, if you're in that same boat as me where you didn't really like North by Northwest on the first time viewing, then I would recommend giving it another try. The reason North by Northwest is such an obscure Hitchcock film is because it really is arguably the most action-packed, adventurous Hitchcock film. There are moments of mystery and suspense, just like there are in the majority of Hitchcock films. However, this one really focuses on the adventure and the action. This movie has been compared to Bond films. In fact, some people call it Hitchcock's Bond film, and I can definitely see that. Eva Marie Saint plays his lover in this film, and I mean, obviously in the Bond films, Bond always has a lover. And then at the same time, there's this crazy journey that he has to go on, which is a lot of the plots for the Bond films. It just has a lot of similar ties to the Bond films. But I think what I like about this one is just how iconic it is. First off, Cary Grant. This is probably my favorite character he has played in his team-ups with Alfred Hitchcock. The character is really funny, oddly enough, but also still has those same traits of what we love from Cary Grant, being suave, kind of mysterious, and also just curious. And so I really like that about him. But what I probably like most about this film is just all the iconic shots. You got the famous scene where the crop duster attacks Cary Grant in the field, and then immediately following that, he almost gets hit by a truck. And then there's a huge showdown at Mount Rushmore, which is really cool to watch. The whole entire movie is such a fun chase film, and if you haven't seen it, I would highly recommend it. I will say, though, that North by Northwest and Notorious are so close to each other that I think they're pretty interchangeable. On a rewatch for both of these films, I could easily see Notorious being my number 1 and North by Northwest being my number 2. What I'm trying to say is I really like these top 2. Guys, I want to hear what your favorite Cary Grant and Hitchcock team-ups are. And also I want to hear about what you guys have been watching for Hitchcock Month. I would love to hear your comments, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and eat a piece of cake today in honor of Sir Alfred Hitchcock. See you later.